Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office for Sunday, October the 8th, 2023. In today's weather discussion, we have a big, gigantic storm that is going to be developing rapidly across the northern plains into the Colorado Rockies, bringing a lot of snowfall, lots of heavy rainfall, and strong winds, and maybe some severe weather too, as this develops, and then it's going to be impacting the Great Lakes and then eventually the Northeast. Taking a look at your current weather first, because this is going to lead to big, massive changes yet to come by the end of this work week, into the weekend. We're going to be talking about a big storm, folks, that you all need to be aware of. So first of all, we have a big storm system happening right now across Quebec and Ontario, Canada, bringing some lake effect rain showers across Lake Ontario, as well as even portions of Lake Michigan over here. This is just pretty wild, to say the least, with these strong winds that are doing this, right? They come around like this. We have a surface low. This is actually the remnants of what was left with Philippe that made its way all the way over here, now bending over to the west because of this big trough. Looking at the 12Z Euro for this Sunday, and you can see the weather is pretty quiet for most areas. In fact, one could even argue today is a very inactive day across the Pacific Northwest, across the northern plains, across the desert Southwest, the deep South, that sort of thing, including for the Ozarks. The only active weather is, again, really with this system that is now pummeling across if you are in Ontario, Quebec, Canada, but there are changes you need to be aware of. By Tuesday, yes, the Pacific Northwest is about to get their fair share of wet weather and some gusty winds. That's part of an atmospheric river that's going to be aimed across the Pacific Northwest. Then, of course, down here we have Lydia. Yeah, about to become a hurricane really soon, folks. And this is going to be turning towards Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, and then eventually maybe getting really close to Cabo San Lucas. Again, this is kind of heading to the north now. Then it's going to be headed to the northeast. And that's going to leave some dry weather for right now, but take a look at this. By the time we go into Wednesday and Thursday, yeah, there's going to be a system that's going to develop here over the Gulf of Mexico. Surprisingly, the NHC is not tagging this one yet at the moment. Might get tagged later on, but can bring some big time rainfall, some flooding issues down here because the ground's been so dry. The heavy rainfall on top of very dry soil going to exacerbate the flooding. And then look what we got up here across the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, that is some snow on your screen for the higher elevations. So some early October snow for some locations, and this is going to lead to one of the biggest storms that we have not seen in quite some time for the Midwest, especially for the high plains. By Thursday afternoon, this is for October the 12th. If you're doing any traveling, I would not do it because we're going to have some big time rain, big time winds coming in out of the north. See these isobars here? They're really tightly bunched up. That means some intense winds. We're also going to see some snow, so maybe some winter weather advisories, maybe some winter storm warnings while we have our system down here. And I promise you, it doesn't look like they're colliding, but there's going to be a collision course here very soon once these two systems really combine. You can see a little bit of moisture right here. There's that little system, and that's going to kind of merge up with this other one. It's going to create a big, powerful weather system over the Great Lakes and eventually for the Northeast. And that takes us all the way through the very end of this work week into next weekend, the third weekend of October, that is the 15th, 2023, with another system impacting the Pacific Northwest. Taking a look at those rainfall totals over the next 7 days, this is pretty significant, and I'm telling you all serious right here. In Minneapolis, in Minnesota, you could be talking about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall out of this weather system. You could be looking at 2 to 5 inches, perhaps nearly across the central northern Nebraska area, as well as south central South Dakota. You've seen some very intense rainfall. Also for the deep south here, like right around the panhandle of Florida, could get maybe 6 inches of rainfall because there's two pieces of this, right? And then unfortunately, if you are kind of in the midsection here, you're not going to see a whole lot of rain, but you're going to see a whole lot of wind to contend with. and then more rain for the Pacific Northwest. It looks like it just wants to, there's like two alleyways, all the rain to the north, most of the rain to the south too, leaving the Midwest here pretty dry. That includes Indiana, where you might not see very much at all out of this system. And then, of course, for the Pacific Northwest, looking at your snowfall totals, yes, big time snow. We could be looking at blizzards for the higher elevations. We might see 2 to 4 feet of snowfall. Elevations above, say, 12 or 13,000 feet in Wyoming. So like Yellowstone, you might see at least 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. Whereas if you go into the mountains, you can see feet of snowfall with this weather system. And this will be the most significant snowfall of the fall season. And in fact, I mean, we're less than a month into fall, and we could be talking about some serious snow. Not only the rain, the wind, and the snowfall will be an impact with this upcoming system, but the temperatures too. And it's going to get cold again because, yep, when we get a bonifying system, we get cold air coming out of the north, and usually it's colder than average versus warmer air to the south. That tends to be above normal. So going forward here, this is for your temperature anomalies for tonight, and you can have temperatures below average for the northeast and also for the western half of the U.S. That's bringing, again, the fall-like temperatures, but it's not going to last for too long because you're going to get a temporary warm-up before another patch of cold air comes on in. By Tuesday, October the 10th and the 11th here, we got cold temperatures across California, the Intermountain West, warmer weather returning for the high plains, and that's going to be temporary as we get this big, massive storm system that's going to bring in some much colder temperatures. In fact, some areas here could have temperatures 20 degrees below normal for your Friday. So yeah, you're going to have temperatures temporarily above average, and then you're just going to go, you're going to dive head first into some cooler temperatures. By the weekend, that's going to bring in some more cooler temperatures for the northern plains and also for the upper Midwest and the deep south. Going to have another push of fall with temperatures 5 to 10 degrees below normal for the next 7 to 10 days. Now, looking at your actual air temperature forecast, yes, it is summer hot here back west in California, the desert southwest, to see temperatures well over 100 today, maybe 105, 108 degrees in some areas, whereas the Midwest going to see some much needed cooling temporarily before some warming does occur again before another patch of cold air comes in. But look at this, by Wednesday, October the 11th, we got quite the temperature change coming in for Oklahoma, for Texas, back into the 90s again. Look at that. For the Dakotas, temperatures in the 50s and upper 40s. Look at this. Temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s in the northern Rockies. I mean, this is pretty extreme if you ask me. I mean, this is, what are we in? Are we in winter or are we in fall? What season are we in, folks? Let me know in the comment section below, because I'm sure Mother Nature here very confused on what she is trying to throw a curveball at us. By Friday, we got that warmer air, temperatures in the 70s in the morning hours in some areas. My goodness, that far north. And then we're going to get some cold air. Look at this. We got temperatures in the upper teens, low 20s, and the higher elevations, lower elevations in the low to mid 20s during the night. And yeah, the big changes coming, folks, by the time we go into next week. And once this second system rolls through, it's going to change your weather pattern for a while. Another product that I don't normally show on my videos is the 500 millibar vorticity map. This is showing us how much upper level energy is supportive for cyclogenesis. And usually when we get these red areas, especially when they go from west to east or southwest to northeast, we get a lot of baroclinic deepening. We get these bona fide systems that can really go crazy depending on the environment setup. So going forward here, we have this big old fat low pressure system over the northeast, bringing again that lake effect rainfall, some gusty winds over Lake Ontario and Lake Michigan, including for if you're on Lake Huron, getting some gusty winds too. And then that system kind of wanes away because we got another one. Look at this one. This is a big bad boy system moving over the Pacific Northwest into the northern Rockies. This big bad boy system is going to be moving into the northern plains. And look at, just follow right here. See all these pink colors, this strip of pink here? That's a lot of baroclinic vorticity maximum. The right front quadrant where that jet is so strong. This is going to lead to a lot of deepening, folks. We're going to And when we get rapidly bonifying systems, we get a lot of rainfall, lots of severe weather potentially with this one. You can see a lot of heavy snowfall for the Rocky Mountains. This system is going to change the weather pattern big time once this gets into the high plains and into the Great Lakes. You can see it right here. Watch this. By the time we go into Friday into Saturday, big system right here. You can see the trough really, really deep. And if you think that's not deep, let's take a look at our 500 millibar height map here. Yeah, there's some blue there. And you know, we got a ridge of high pressure to the north. It's going to mean some cold air going to be advecting southward around this low pressure system. So while it's above average up here in Canada, you can see some really cold temperatures into the central and northern U.S. with another system going to be slapping California into the Pacific Northwest by the end of this forecast period. Now, I do have a few announcements that you all need to be aware of. I know you guys hate announcements towards the end of the video, but these are really important announcements. The first announcement is on October the 14th at 10 in the morning Pacific Daylight Time. Mark your calendar, set your alarm. At 10 in the morning on Saturday, October the 14th, I am going to be hosting a special solar eclipse live stream on this YouTube channel. If you want to know more about that, there's a link in the description below this video. I'm going to post an article on about this eclipse because this is going to be a very rare one. We're going to talk about an annular eclipse that's going to be hosted on this stream. Not only that, the second one I do want to mention is I have a Sacramento Weather Center forecast Facebook page where you all could check me out here. It is 100% free to join. There is no cost whatsoever. Here, you're going to get localized weather forecasts around northern and central California. My service area is Redding, Red Bluff. If you are in Chico, if you are in Marysville, I will update you the forecast there as well. So I cover pretty much this whole area all the way from, say, Fresno, if you're in Livingston, across the foothills, in the mountains of Lake Tahoe. I will keep you all updated there too. So if you want to participate today for free, there is a link in the description below this video leading to that forecast office page. If you all want to check out our Discord server, there will be a link in the description below this video leading to that server. It's Weather Force. You all need to participate. It's so much fun. It's free to join. And yes, I even have my cousin in there. I have my friends. So if you want to join today, there's a link to that. Thirdly, I did want to mention that if you want to become a member on this YouTube channel, there will also be a link to that. That's, of course, not free. There is different tiers you can subscribe to. But also, lastly, if you just want to support me for the heck of it, for the work that I do, please consider subscribing, sharing this video with their family and friends on social media, and also leave a like and ring that bell notification icon, because I do upload as frequently as I can. But otherwise, that is going to do with today's video. I'll be back with you more tomorrow with another big update on this Midwest storm.